Hey guys, welcome back. We're back outside today and we are tackling a new garden project. So what I want to do today is expand the front garden bed. This bed is fairly new. This whole area 2 or 3 years ago was just grass. Initially, when I made this garden bed, I expanded it out just to where these gray pavers are. And about 2 or so years ago, I bought these boxwoods off of Amazon, actually. I bought these boxwoods with the intention of taking them with me to my townhouse in Brooklyn, but that's a never-ending project. So I didn't want to keep them in their pots. I had actually repotted them in some big pots that we had, but I didn't want to keep them in those pots for too long. So they got planted here I kind of like them as a border or a hedge, but they got planted outside of the original outline for this garden bed, which I'm totally fine with. So the plan for today, and I already know this project is going to take me more than one day, as most of my projects do, because I only have about an hour or two before I need to get ready for work. So the plan is I'm going to take out these bricks. These were just bricks that we had around the house that I ended up using as borders, and moving it out a little bit behind the boxwoods. And then I want to use the cardboard method again to suppress the grass that we have here and have more room for some plantings. So that's the plan for today. Let's get started. So the first part of the plan is going to be to just take these bricks out of the ground and move them back. This isn't a very formal border at all. As you guys can see, I literally just plopped them in the grass and I'm fine with that. On this edge, I do want to be careful though. My first impulse was to take the garden bed out fairly far, a little bit deeper, going behind the hedge, but I don't want to encroach on the neighbor's property line. So I'm just going to be pulling these out and pulling them out just a little bit further than the boxwoods. And since we're going to be expanding the bed, we're definitely going to have to get more bricks since it's going to be a little bit wider. But we have a bunch of these bricks kind of all over the place. Not a bunch, but enough that I think it'll be fine to expand the bed. And if you guys see me jumping around, for some reason in this area, there's a lot of small bees in the grass that I'm going to try and not bother so I don't get stung. And that's the end of the available bricks that were originally in the bed. Let's go see if we can find some more. These are not the exact same bricks, but could it be a cottage garden look? I don't know. I don't think it's going to matter that much, honestly. Eventually, they're all going to be about the same color, but let me go look for some more. think we just made it. Okay, so now the bed is expanded and I definitely like it a little bit deeper. They're always saying make your garden bed deeper than you originally think it should be. I like that we can see the bricks even though they're a little bit haphazard. When I was putting borders in my different garden beds before, I was always trying to hide the border. I don't know why. I just thought it would be better, but I realized it's probably more helpful to have it a little bit higher up as it is to help keep out the grass. And I think seeing the edge is nice as well. So happy with that. Things I'm realizing now that's going to make this a bigger project than I originally intended. I'm not going to do it today, but I think you guys have an idea of what I'm thinking of, right? I knew when I expanded the border out that it was going to be behind these boxwoods. And I thought that wasn't going to bother me. I'll just plant behind it. It will be fine. But I guess because most people use boxwoods as a hedge, it's bothering me that there's all this space behind them. And yes, I could plant some perennials here or even some annuals, whatever I decide to do, but this is bugging me. So I am at some point going to dig, not all of them, I think just, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 4 out of the 6. 4 out of the 6 are going to have to be dug out and moved back. And if I'm 100% honest, I might end up digging out the last 2 as well, just because I'm not the one who actually put them in the ground. The gardeners that, or really the landscapers that we used to have, they did. They saw me, I had lined them up in their pots along this edge, thinking, I was like, okay, I'm gonna put them here. And then I went to work and I came back one day and they were in the ground. So I left them. The spacing is probably not exactly what I would want it to be. So, and especially now that the garden bed is deeper, the spacing probably does have to change. So I am probably going to dig these out, but I told myself, Alyssa, stop. It is August, it is hot. We had some issues with the sprinkler system. It ran out of battery. There was not actually anything broken with it. The control panel didn't have a battery. Finally got it. These guys, it's really hot. It's gonna be hot all week. Don't stress them out by moving them back today. I will though. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to leave them where they are for now. I'm going to put the cardboard down, and in another few weeks when it's fall and the weather cools down a little bit, I will dig them up and move them back a little bit. But I figure let me not do it today and stress them out too much, right? Now, the other thing I didn't anticipate, this I didn't anticipate at all, is I'm going to need more heather. Let me show you. So you guys probably remember in the beginning of the spring, and if you haven't seen that video, go back and take a look. I bought this heather and lined it on the sides where there's hardscaping. So on the side of this garden bed by the driveway, as well as on the sidewalk. And it's purple heather. Now that the garden bed has expanded, I'm gonna have to get 1, 2, 3, probably I'm gonna end up having to get 4 more heather. That's going to be a later project. This isn't going to get done right away, frankly, because there's no heather to be found at this point. I'm probably going to have to wait for maybe next spring. Maybe there'll be some in the fall, but I don't think so. That's why I had to wait a whole year to redo this project. So that's not going to get done, but that will have to get done next year. All right, let's go get some cardboard. Now, much to my family's annoyance, I have been hoarding cardboard. There's still more scattered about in the garage, in the shed, by the side of the house. This is not even all of our cardboard. A few weeks ago, on one of the trash days, or I guess the recycling days, a few neighbors had a whole bunch of cardboard out, and yes, I was that person that jumped out of their car and gathered up the cardboard in the middle of the night after a shift. But it was a golden opportunity. There was just piles of cardboard. have to resist doing that even now, but every time I see piles of cardboard, I think about grabbing it. All right, so you guys know the drill. Let's lay out this cardboard. Smother some grass. Where did that big spider go? Hmm. Oh, there's that big spider. Please. Ah! Okay, you stay there. Hey guys, so you can see that this is a few days after I started the project. My brother actually ended up coming over, so I stopped the project early so we could hang out with him for a little while, and then I headed to work. Since I didn't want the cardboard to be flying all over the place, I put some topsoil down on top of it to keep the cardboard down, as well as a couple of the bricks just to keep everything from flying all over the place before I could start the project again. I learned my lesson from the oak tree garden bed. So, what I end up doing on this day is laying out some more cardboard a little bit deeper past the boxwoods, and then we lay out the topsoil. I ended up having to go back to the store to get more topsoil, which I knew I was going to have to do. I always seem to be underbuying when I'm doing these projects, but I get it done eventually. Okay, guys, that's it for part one of extending the front yard garden bed. I'm really excited about how this is shaping up, and all of this nice new dark soil is making me very itchy to plant some new plants in here. And as a matter of fact, I did pick up a native cultivar of threadleaf coreopsis as well as some coneflowers when I went to the garden center to get some more soil. So in another day or two, I'm going to get those in the ground. On a different day, I will come back and cut out the excess cardboard, but I do want to leave it in place for right now just to help with some more grass suppression to prevent it from growing back into the bed. So thanks for coming along with me, guys, as we extend this garden bed and get a little wilder. And as always, I hope you get a chance to get outside and enjoy your garden. Until next time, guys, bye.